Thanks for clicking on this video. Here's a standing kitty. What really obvious thing have you only just realized? I recently realized I was allergic to carrots. I just thought they made everyone's mouth numb, you know, just like almonds. I also learned recently that I have an almond allergy. Same here. Thought that raw hazelnuts don't taste good because they give this weird tingle in your mouth. Found out I had a nut allergy when it suddenly turned from tingle to anaphylaxis, and I ended up in hospital for eating nut chocolate. Super embarrassing, but in college I would order Roman Cokes because I heard everyone else ordering the same. Turns out I misheard everyone and found out it was just rum and coke. A Roman Coke does sound like a great drink though. Mix equal parts rum and cola. Pour over ice and serve. Just like the ancient Romans did. Valve released Steam. It took me a long time to realize the pun. My favorite along these lines was the old CD burning software, Nero, short for narrow burning ROM. That the division symbol is just a blank fraction with dots replacing the numerator and denominator. Well hell, all of these I read in this. This one got me. Mind you, I teach elementary school. Thank your lucky stars I don't teach math. Percent symbol too. In the same vein, it took me longer than I'd care to admit to figure out that rational numbers means they can be expressed as a ratio of integers. I never had a math teacher explain it that way and it never clicked. I just thought, wow, what a weird way to describe numbers. That Jessica Rabbit is not a rabbit, but took Roger Rabbit's last name. On a similar vein, as a child I was confused as to why Mary, Kate, and Ashley were referred to as the Olsen twins, and why ads on TV only ever showed two of them at a time. And then 16-year-old me found out about Mary Kate. John Oliver would like a word with you. Did her looking nothing like a rabbit not give it away? I just assumed she was a rabbit, since I didn't pay attention to her marital status as a child. We just recently watched it, and I realized they were officially married, and that's when it hit me. Super obvious. Until now, I thought Jessica Rabbit was a rabbit that looked like a hot chick. This is going to make me seem dumb as hell, but I recently realized why pickles don't ever come fresh. Maybe not the way you're playing with them. They do. But when fresh they are generally called cucumbers. I live in a part of Chicago called Greektown for 8 years and never realized the blue and white Christmas lights were meant to represent the colors on their flag. It just dawned on me today. I think Chancellor Palpatine is a Sith Lord. I live in Denmark, so English is not my native language, and I just realized that weekend means the end of the week. The odd thing is that in the US, our calendars are arranged Sunday to Saturday, so it's sort of the weekend, but it's also the week beginning. It was a bit of a surprise when I moved to Denmark and saw calendars arranged Monday to Sunday. Weekends. Like bookends. The first time I visited the USA I was on my own and in New York and going to all the museums. I kept seeing signs that said no strollers and thought, because we call strollers prams in the UK, that you guys are super strict about the proper amount of attention required to visit a museum. I actually pretended to show more interest than I had and ought not to be thugth as some deadbeat out for a casual stroll. It wasn't until about day 3 that I saw a no stroller sign that included a graphic for idiots. I'm a Brit who got sucked into a holiday job doing door-to-door sales for a MLM company in the US. All the doors with signs saying no solicitors confused me. As I was neither an attorney or a rent boy, I figured I was in the clear. Fortunately, the local police took an afternoon out of my day to explain. On my first visit to the States, I went to a supermarket on my own, and at the checkout the lady asked me paper or plastic, and I didn't know what she meant, so I said I have cash, and she very politely didn't tell me I was an idiot. She was in fact asking what type of carrier bags I wanted my shopping putting in, instead of how I was going to pay. I thought astigmatism was astigmatism, so I thought you could have two stigmatisms, and I confused stigmatism with both stigma and stigmata. This girl I know has a dog named Deirdre. 2 years into knowing her and being around Deirdre, I was having a conversation with her sister-in-law, and I said I love the name Deirdre. How did she come up with that? Her sister-in-law responds, Deirdre, and I said yay, it's a neat name. She started laughing and said no, D-O-G, the way you spell dog. I'm still mind blown about this lol. I knew someone whose dog was named Spot. 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 The Grammys are called that because the awards are gramophones. Now everything has sense now. That big ships we got to turn as a kid was not actually controlling the cruise ship. This jogged my memory of something. When I was around 13, I was on a flight with a bunch of other kids. I fell asleep during the flight, but woke up during some turbulence. A couple kids near me saw me wake up startled and made a big show of saying, "Whoa, I can't believe the pilot did a barrel roll." A few other people I talked to about it confirmed it, and it took me embarrassingly far into adulthood to realize some people were just messing with me. I mean, a pilot on a commercial flight wouldn't do that, right? When the kids catch their mom kissing Santa Claus, it is because Santa is their dad dressed up. Not because Santa and mom have a once yearly torrid affair. That parents have children write letters to Santa so they can figure out what to buy them for Christmas. I can't believe how I never put that together after 32 years on this earth. I just thought it was fun little tradition. When I was little we had an Australian shepherd named Sydney. I didn't understand why her name was Sydney until 18 years later. I named my American Eskimo Juno. You have an Eskimo? He has an American. Today my friend realized pipe cleaners were originally for cleaning pipes. After I suggested using one to clean a metal straw because it's similar to a pipe. Oh, I had that one about 7 years ago when my stoner ass was trying to clean out a glass pipe. Man, this is so stupid. Someone should invent some sort of duck-in pipe cleaner. Oh. I learned that all spice is actually one spice and not a blend of spices containing cinnamon and nutmeg, and tasting it doesn't help disprove that theory. For the longest time, I always thought prima donna was prima donna. Me too. My mother would call me that, and I thought she meant I was going to be a whore. When I was a kid my mom told me my rabbit Rosie went to live on a farm. In my early 20s I saw an episode of The Sopranos where everyone makes fun of Tony when he realizes his dog didn't really go to live on a farm. That's when I realized Rosie had not gone to a farm either. If it makes you feel any better, I lived on a farm as a kid and took in 2 rabbits. One of my mom's friends was sick of her kids having rabbits, so I got them. They lived a good life. I used to bring them all of the but ends of any vegetables my mom chopped up, and I gave them a lot of ice cubes in the summer. They didn't like to be petted, but they seemed to like it when I read to them. For a long time I thought to bust a nut meant that you were going to kick a guy in the balls or beat him up. So anytime I was getting worked up or angry talking about some guy I would say I'm going to bust his ducking nut, not knowing the real meaning. Nobody ever said anything, but it was always followed by my friends laughing, so I assumed it was because I was being dramatic. Years go by and my coworker is telling me about some rude person he met, and I said you should definitely bust that guy's nut, to which he paused and said, "Do you even know what that means?" Suffice it to say I was extremely embarrassed and horrified when he explained it to me. I had a boss that was under the impression that bust a nut meant to work extremely hard. Suffice to say our team meeting ended awkwardly when Sean would tell all of us to go bust a nut after the meeting. The houses in Bikini Bottom are car mufflers. What the duck? And Patrick is dumb and knows nothing because he lives under a rock. Bikini Bottom is named after the nuclear bomb testing sites and the sea life is weird from the radiation. Also bikinis are named after the radioactive site as well. That to take off the plastic piece on top of deodorant you just simply twist the bottom a few times. LMAO. No. I must bite. That Mitchell and Jello's David is David from David and Goliath. How did I not know this? I thought it was just dude called Dave. On a similar note, I'm 37 and only realized a few years ago that the David and Goliath David is the same David as King David in the Bible. Obviously not raised in church. My grandpa used to ask me when I was a kid if I could talk without moving my lips. Being a dumbass kid I would always give it my best effort and thought I was pretty good at it. 20 years later I realized the old bugger was just telling me to shut the duck up. Haha. Too bad I can't let him know I finally figured it out. I'm 30 and I realized a few months ago that howdy is cowboy for how do you do. Buckaroo equals vaquero. Cahoots equals cohorts. Vmoose equals varminus, or vamus. HOOSEGOW equals juzgado. That they put measurement stickers next to gas station doors so if a robber is running out of the store you can get a better estimate of their height. I always thought they were just there for something fun to do on road trip stops. More than that, they are not actually accurate if you stand against them and measure that way. They are supposed to be placed so the camera will show the correct height of the person, compensating for the angle of the camera. Not me, but my husband just understood that Q is pronounced Q and not key. His mind was blown. I have to remind myself key is pronounced key, not quay, so this made me do a double take.